Meet Brad. Brad is the band director for a local high school. Brad's limited budget makes it difficult for him to purchase the instruments he needs and repair the instruments he has. Annual price increases also create a challenge. The additional 3 to 5% per year makes it even more difficult for Brad to manage his budget. This is Diane. Diane is a rep for a school music dealer that sells and repairs instruments. Brad tells Diane about his instrument needs and his limited budget. They also discuss some of the older instruments that are depleting his repair budget. Diane makes a list of the instruments that Brad needs and inspects the instruments in need of repair. Diane determines which instruments should be replaced instead of being repaired. Diane estimates Brad's instrument needs to be between $15,000 and $17,000. Brad thinks that amount would exceed what he has left in his budget. Brad thinks $9,000 is the maximum he could purchase. Diane tells Brad about BGE Financial's school lease purchase plan, which provides financial assistance to schools, universities, and booster programs so they can acquire the instruments they need. Diane goes to the payment calculator on the BGE website from her phone and enters $16,000 to give Brad an idea of the annual payment options. All options fall within Brad's budget of $9,000. Brad is interested in BGE's program and would like to see a proposal. Diane goes back to the store and uses BGE's website to create a proposal for Brad. Diane clicks on Login and enters her email and password to access her proposal account. She completes the general options and fills in her store information, which will be saved to her account for future use. She then completes the school's information and enters the product and pricing for the instruments Brad needs, and clicks on Calculate Proposal. Now the proposal has been created, and it lists Brad's payment options ranging from 2 to 5 years. The form can be emailed to Brad or printed. Brad takes the proposal to school officials and they have a few questions. What happens at the end of the lease? The school's obligations under the lease are completed after all of the payments are made, including the final payment of $1. Does BGE offer a municipal lease for public schools and universities? Yes, and BGE's municipal lease is annually renewable and contains a non-appropriation clause. Can the lease be paid off early? Yes, the school can pay off the lease early and receive a rebate of unearned lease charges. Who covers the insurance on the instruments? The school, as lessee, is required to have insurance. This is to protect against theft, mysterious disappearance, or damage. Optional insurance is available through BGE with a $0 deductible and 100% coverage. When the proposal is accepted, the form is signed by the school. It is then emailed or faxed to BGE. Upon receipt, BGE will email the formal lease agreement directly to school officials. When the signed paperwork is received by BGE, notification will be sent to Diane, authorizing her to deliver the instruments. Most entities will include their first payment with their signed lease. Public schools will submit their first payment when delivery is completed. Diane delivers the instruments and invoices BGE as instructed. Once all instruments have been received by the school, the same school official who signed the lease will need to sign the acceptance certificate portion of the lease and return it as directed. Diane's store will be paid in full within 10 days after BGE receives the required paperwork. This includes the signed lease, acceptance certificate, insurance, first year's annual payment, and Diane's invoice for the instruments. Diane is excited that Brad's school decided to move forward with the lease. She was able to help Brad and increase her sales. Brad is thrilled with his new instruments. He was able to stretch his budget and finally get all the instruments he needs. For additional information, please contact BGE directly with any of your questions or visit their website at bgefinancial.com.